I think there's a chance that we see LeBron James in a Cleveland uniform one more time before he retires from the NBA for good. And to be honest, I've had the idea for a while now, but with rumors circulating the league, it's looking like what I once thought was far-fetched could soon be a reality. With many changes happening in LA, and just the idea of a storybook ending for the NBA star of the last 2 decades, to be able to start your career in your home state, it would be crazy to see him finish his career there over 20 years later. And that's what could actually happen if things start moving this offseason between the Lakers and the Cavaliers. Don't get me wrong, it would still be a hard move to pull off on all accounts, but if there is any player that's going to get his way, it has to be LeBron. So let me break down why I think LeBron could end up on the Cavaliers for the 2025-26 NBA season. The obvious answer is that LeBron got to start his career in Cleveland at 18 years old and could potentially finish it at 41. And as we've seen in the past, LeBron has lots of ties to Ohio and even the city of Cleveland that made him go back to the franchise in 2015 with the hopes of winning a championship for the organization. So what's to say that he doesn't find a way back to the franchise for the storybook ending for a guy who has accomplished everything in his career? The second part would be how good the current Cleveland Cavaliers team currently is. The franchise secured first place last season, and with injuries surrounding the Eastern Conference, they're likely on their way to doing the same this next season. That mixed with the coming home reasoning would be a way that LeBron could essentially ring chase without anyone giving it another thought. And to be honest, I think the franchise would have a pretty solid shot at winning a championship in general, and even more so if LeBron is on the team, depending on the pieces they have to give up in the trade. I mean, the Cavaliers have a pretty open path to making the finals as it stands right now, and I think that would be even more enticing for LeBron to make the return. But don't forget that LeBron has a no trade clause, and I'm willing to bet he's open to hearing what the Cavaliers have to say, and honestly would, in my opinion, be the only franchise that he'd be willing to pack his things up for. Another factor to me would be how the franchise has treated the current situation dating back to the trade deadline of last season. James already said that the Lakers didn't talk to him on a potential trade of Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic, which for any other player would be a typical scenario, but for LeBron, things are typically different. However, the franchise now looks at the roster in a completely different view with Luka as their new cornerstone that can lead them to a championship. They have now shifted the focus from LeBron to satisfying the needs of their 26-year-old superstar, which is perfectly acceptable to everyone except for LeBron if I had to assume, which could also be a reason that he decided to pick up his player option for the Lakers this year instead of taking another pay cut like he did the previous chance. It could be speculated that LeBron was sending a message that if the franchise isn't going to move in his direction and for his benefit moving forward, or even in a graceful exit of the league, then he wasn't going to extend his hand to help them either. Taking the $53 million sets him up for this next season being his last on contract, where he could maybe be prepping for a final year in LA and then 1-year deal to finish in Cleveland. But it's worth mentioning that he also gets a 15% bonus with the trade, and not that LeBron is really in the need of bonus money, but it could also be another way to get the franchise to pay the tax of essentially doing bad business with LeBron. All of those reasons combined could be the reason that we see LeBron playing for the Cavaliers in this next season or potentially the season after. And after hearing reports that the Cavaliers are making efforts, I think there's a real possibility that it happens. Now, some other factors that might influence this trade is whether LeBron can get Bronny brought in on the deal to Cleveland as well, and whether the pieces the Cavs have to give up to acquire him will be good enough for the trade but bad enough to keep the Cavaliers in contention. Other than that, I think we might get the storybook ending of LeBron starting and finishing his NBA career in a Cleveland uniform. But you guys let me know what you think, and if you see LeBron playing for Cleveland again before his career ends, and whether or not you think a Cavs team with LeBron could actually win a title. And don't forget that one of my followers is getting a rally towel from me, so make sure you're following and comment the best player from your favorite team to enter the giveaway. I'm choosing the winner August 1st.